Jocks working overtime. Leader Fan Radio Network.
Excuse me?
And KFAN.com. 1 minute and 50 seconds past 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We welcome you back to a very special Tuesday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program on a rather steamy, rather moist Tuesday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I am the host of the program. My name is Dan Barreiro, former Ink Stain Wretch, newspaper of the Twin Cities, and a sentimentalist who prefers his plastic bottle tops continue to separate cleanly from the bottle itself. Guardsy is the producer of the program and two-time state high school tennis champion. We are going the distance today, I believe. That means until 6:30 tonight. Lynx basketball on the Fan tonight after that?
Let me check the schedule.
It's a big game tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Paige Beckers is back.
You're right. We have Stanley Cup Game 4 tonight.
Oh,
Stanley Cup Game 4.
Can't we put that on the plus?
I'm not the program director.
Just trying to get fallness going. Hockey community going. Well,
when you have all the properties, you're going to get somebody going.
Let's
That's
be
the
honest.
beauty of it.
I don't believe this is a national TV game for the Lynx. I think if you have the WNBA package, you can get this game, and I think you can stream it via the Lynx app for free, but I don't think it's available as sort of like a network offering. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm looking up now.
We'll double check
just
that.
to give you, it's Victory Plus, so that's the local bit. You're right, not national.
What does Victory Plus mean?
That's like the new TV app that they do.
Oh, okay.
That Sloan Martin and Leah B are on.
So that won't be like on DirecTV 668. Like I get
so.
that they don't do it that way anymore.
I don't believe so. No, it's kind of their own deal.
Okay, fair
Yes.
enough. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is open at 64686. We have an outstanding array of guests on the uglydeck.com scorecard today. We'll give you details in just a minute there. But I must tell you, I'm not necessarily mocking or ripping the Shock Jocks, but they are in, what's the date today? June 9?
Yes.
Tuesday, June 9. They are in mid-training camp form already. This is I think, a mandatory Vikings minicamp that opened today, correct?
It is.
Going on as we speak, I believe, correct? Although I guess now it may be over. I'm not sure what our schedule is. Well, actually, I'm looking at...
we're leading the national news again.
Again, it's leading NFL Live, not surprisingly. And the quarterbacks were made available. I saw B-Flow available. I saw Kyler Murray available. And I saw JJ McCarthy available.
I just looked up at young JJ.
And you know there was a big difference between what the Shock Jocks were asking Kyler and what they were asking JJ.
Is that right?
Yeah. For example, not one question aimed at Kyler when he was up at the podium was, do you want to be traded? And yet, one of the first questions for JJ McCarthy by our guy, Kevin Seifert, who's going to join us in about an hour. Funny. Mid-season, the Shock Jocks are at it. Direct. I won't call it confrontational, but very direct question about wanting to be traded. Have you heard about JJ McCarthy's answer?
I don't think I have.
It was as careful as one could possibly be. He worked clearly overtime, not to give a shred of evidence that he is frustrated, annoyed, tired of sitting on the other side of the classroom, all of that stuff. Nothing's changed for me. I said it before I came here. This is the place I want to be, and nothing has changed ever since.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, you got it. Let's listen to it.
Thought about a trade or thought about the possibility that you wanted to be traded?
I think I made it very clear I wanted to be here before I got here. And I love this organization. I love the coaching staff. I absolutely love these players to death. This is where I want to be. I feel like I can thrive in this system. And, it's just, everything played out exactly how I wanted it. I wouldn't want anything else to change.
I'm sorry.
Was that there? Was that the Jackals?
That was, yeah. That wasn't.
Or was that you?
That wasn't me. No, no.
Was that Gessling?
If I did click it, it might have been it was a slip up.
That did sound like Alec Lewis.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or is this one more like Alec Lewis? No, that's too deep. Lewis is too young.
Yeah, he is. He's young Alec.
Could this be Alec Lewis? No, definitely.
His mind is too pure for that.
How about this one? No, I don't think
that's more of a Seifert, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Matthew Collar.
So it almost sounded, and I didn't hear the entire interview. I listened to a decent amount of it. When I gave up? When the human question was asked. What's it like being a dad?
Oh, geez.
Of course, again, there's nothing. You're trying to lighten it up a little bit. It's tense. You're trying to get it. It's a human question. But at that point, I'm out. Okay, fine. We're happy for you. He's telling the stories about, crawling up the stairs and all that stuff. And
wouldn't it be great? I'd actually like it if somebody told the truth. Like if JJ said, well, honestly,
it's a pain in the ass.
Today kind of sucked because I'm out here battling for my life.
Yeah.
Trying to save my livelihood to take care of this kid. And he or she, I can't remember.
I don't either.
Wouldn't eat their breakfast. And then it spilled on my iPad, so I missed the install.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked today. So thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, Kyler doesn't have that challenge. I don't think. Actually, I don't know if he's got kids.
That's maybe why we should learn more about these guys as humans.
We probably should. But see, the problem is if he answers that honestly, it'll be, he's edgy.
Right.
It's getting to him. The whole thing is getting to him already. So it sounded like a very practiced answer that I don't think left any chance for interpretation by the Jackals, although knowing Seifert, he might, shade it one way or the other when he talks to us from TCO tomorrow. By the way, who won the girls' state flag football championship as heard on the fan last night?
I believe the Rosemont Irish.
Was it a controversial finish?
I don't know if it was controversial or not.
Now, here's the most important question. Did they use replay on key calls? Was replay available to the officials for the state high school flag football title game?
I think we'll have to ask Halvey or Parker Fox. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't listen or watch, so I'm not sure.
I do like flag football. I don't know if I like watching it, though. That's the question. Do you like watching it?
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I haven't, you really, until recently, haven't been given a great opportunity to watch it. Especially high school. It's kind of a new thing. So I guess I don't know. I don't think I'll be interested when it's in the Olympics in 2028.
I won't. Is that when it's first in?
I believe so.
Yeah. 2 years.
And all the NFL guys want to do it, and I don't know how that's going to work.
We do have, by the way, some World Cup stuff to report. Now, eventually, we might as well make this official now.
Let's do it.
You had an idea about, who might be the official bumper-to-bumper World Cup correspondent. And we're not a huge soccer show. That's clearly established. But we have tended to try to get into it, at least to a degree, World Cup time. And we've had some great correspondents over the years, including, and I have not heard from him recently, Papa from Ghana. Remember Papa from Ghana?
I'll never forget Papa from Ghana.
One of the great radio voices of all time.
Yep.
Closer to Papa from Ghana, hit the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line at 64686 if you're still around. But in this case...
That's for you. It's for you. No, it's for our breaking news of who our correspondent is. I thought
maybe he had something from camp.
No, JJ has not been traded.
He's not been traded.
Not yet.
Yeah. No, it's Brett Blakemore. About as motivated. Here's how motivated Blakemore is. If during a Sunday sermons, there happens to be a soccer match including his favorite English team, he is utterly disconnected to the show that he's a part of.
You better hope Sam Mitchell's in studio.
That's exactly it. Now, I'm not sure that's a badge of honor for him, professionally speaking.
It's not.
But it does tell you a little bit about his commitment to the soccer bit. So, occasionally, when is Blakemore's first appearance scheduled? Have we done that yet?
I spoke with him last night on the trade-off before he jumped in with Halvey and Parker. I told him, I said, you tell me. I think it's going to be Friday because U.S. opens on Friday.
Perfect.
So I didn't know if we should do it Thursday before, but it's a late night match.
I think Friday's fine.
So I think Friday in the 3 o'clock hour, Brett Blakemore is going to be our first, do his first World Cup corresponding for Bumper to Bumper. Usually it takes him like 3 days to text me back. He texted me back that night after we had the conversation in like 4 seconds.
He's excited.
He said, I'm in. Let's do it. I said, good. Dan and I both agree you're perfect for the role. Let's run with it and let's make it happen. So we're excited about that.
Well, and the first question I got to ask him is, I saw, now again, the Athletic's not the last word on anything, even though Johnny Athletic believes it is. But they did a preview, but basically where they ranked, how many teams are in the World Cup? I don't even know.
Is it 32?
Is it 32?
32 or 64? That's a question for Blakemore.
Whatever it is, they had us ranked either 23rd or 24th in the world. And I got to start there. I mean, if that's accurate, what are we doing? How is that, after all we've been told about the endless, from people like Lavelle, the endless investment in this game and how much more it means to people and how much better teams draw and all the leagues we have here now, etc. How, I'm not asking us to be number 1 or number 2, even number 5. How are we 23rd if we've made all this progress? How is that possible?
Maybe we used to be 48.
So we're actually moving up in the world?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I guess that's possible.
I'm sure we're moving up a little bit, but not enough.
I don't know. In any case, if we're keeping score, and we're going to be keeping score, let's face it, all summer, not just how JJ and Kyler Murray play, but how they behave in front of the microphones, I think JJ said he pretty much said what he had to say. Because even if he wants to leave, I don't think there's any upside in him saying that publicly right now, right? Because it will be viewed as, afraid to compete, are you?
Little challenge scares you?
Now you're curling up in the fetal position, even if we all know it's a fixed competition and it's Kyler's job. Kyler, again, sounded assured, but here's the thing, man. The Jackals clearly have also already made their decision. Seifert made it within 5 minutes of the workouts 2 weeks ago, right? And you should have heard the softball questions for Kyler, about, it sounds like you've adjusted. So everybody's talking about how well you've adjusted on making the plays and making the throws. And I mean, honestly, I thought everybody wanted to get a room with him at that point. So
Omni Viking Lakes is right there.
My point is, it's not that tough for Kyler right now. He's in the honeymoon period. Ain't nothing going to be. Has anybody asked Kyler about the reputation he has about preparing badly? Has that come up yet?
I haven't seen it if it has.
I see. Funny. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
We're not shy about throwing hardball, down the middle fastball strikes at JJ, are we?
You want to trade, JJ?
Open season already on JJ McCarthy. Interesting. All right, let's get our first pause in. I'll give you details on our guest lineup. In fact, we have our first one scheduled for 3:30 today. We will cover Stanley Cup. Before we're done, we'll cover Game 3 NBA Finals last night. And if you are in the group, and there's a couple people nationally, I guess, who've actually said this with semi-straight face, who think that the main reason why the New York Knickerbockers lost last night in Game 3 is because the president was there, you're an idiot.
This is Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
We got another Edina story today. It is amazing how it's come out of nowhere, and I think it's going to be a new cottage industry for us again. Have you heard about the latest one?
I may have, yeah. The weather's getting nicer, too. So
Does that have something to do with it?
It's like one of those things. The weather gets nice, people start doing things, and Edina pops up.
Speaking of the World Cup, did you see the nugget? I believe this was in The Athletic. I'm not positive. I believe it was. Regarding why Chicago, which had appeared to be a perfect host city for the 2026 World Cup, said no.
I didn't see about Chicago. No, I read about us.
It goes back to a guy who was in the front row at the Garden last night, I believe, seated next to Larry David. His name is Rahm Emanuel.
Okay.
Former mayor of Chicago, used to be a big shot advisor to President Obama, if you recall.
People are trying to get him to run for president.
And people are trying to get him to run for president. Yep. I think I actually believe he'd be a pretty formidable candidate for a number of reasons not worth going into today, but we've talked about that before. So, I don't know what podcast he's being interviewed on, but maybe it was an athletic podcast. I'm not sure. Or maybe they just ran the interview. But Rahm was the city's 55th mayor, and he's looking at FIFA's hosting agreement, like what they are demanding as part of the deal. And among the demands, non-negotiable, was that World Cup officials had the right, if needed, if they got the hankering, to order you to put a dome over Soldier Field.
Excuse me?
Rahm says, whoa. You got it. Come on, man. You got to take that out. And they said, no. We hardly ever actually ask for it, but it's just, come on. It's okay. We're not going to ask for it, but we got to have it in there. And Rahm says, well, if you never do it, then take it out. And they said, we're not going to take it out. And I think the estimation was, it was like another 100 at the time. This was like a couple hundred million.
That has to be a lot
maybe
of money.
Even more.
Yeah, I'd say more.
And so Emanuel said, I think the term he used in the interview was that the proposal left Chicago taxpayers as the dumb money at the table. And to his credit, he walked. And I can't blame him. I get the idea of wanting to be a part of this event, but on so many levels, even by modern sports standards, the level of gall, gumption, chutzpah, what's the term? The arrogance, the hubris of this organization, I actually find it refreshing that somebody said, no, go someplace. And they found some other place, and I don't even know what the rules were there. But how about that? Yeah, just in case we need you to dome it. How is that even I guess it's among the possibilities if enough times the folks who make these decisions cave.
Have said yes.
And say yes and curl up in the fetal position. And so you're left with that kind of nonsense going on. The only way it changes is if everybody says, too bad. But again, we wanted it here, right? Because we've estimated this is going to bring in $40 billion to the U.S. economy.
At least.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
When Trump gets done with it, might be double, might be like $80 billion.
For sure.
But, I mean, come on. It's just, that cracked me up.
I had not heard that. It's not surprising, though.
No, it's not.
Because remember when we talked about this with the Super Bowl stuff with Minnesota, the little things, and in this case, this is a huge thing, but the little things that they throw in there as demands that you have to do. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. And so everybody pats themselves on the back, and rightfully so. If you want to bring events in, you got to find a way to get it to the finish line. But a lot of times it is that simple of just say yes to everything that they're offering or that they're proposing, and then you're going to get it.
For the record, it sounds like Papa from Ghana has stepped out on us. Because I don't remember getting an email offering his services. He was on with PA this morning. Okay. Make your choices. Go right ahead. Go right ahead, man. That's fine. No, it's free country. Go right ahead. I mean, it's bulletin board material for us, isn't it?
It's true.
Papa from Ghana giving us the back of his hand after how many World Cups?
At least 3.
Did we give
4?
him nothing but radio time?
Man.
Nothing but radio time. Over and over and over again.
I've still got a lot of the emails.
That's fine. That's fine. Ben from Sales also wants to get in on it. We love you, but Blakemore's, we're committed at this point to Brett Blakemore, I think.
We remain committed.
And
we're not going to Kyler Murray, Brett Blakemore.
No. Exactly it. And we're not going to, do what's happened to us regarding Papa from Ghana.
Go back on our word?
No, I'm not going to do that. That does not seem fair. Seifert joins from Vikings. I guess, required off-season workouts at 4. Lou Nanny will join us at 4:30 to talk Stanley Cup Final, which will continue tonight on the Fan. And Richard Pitino, kind enough to join us now via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. Currently head coach, men's basketball, Xavier University, right? It's not University of Xavier, Xavier U, is it not?
I screw that up every now and then. I had to Google it the other day, but it is Xavier University.
That's what I thought. I just has, a million things come up on X, some worthy of time, some not, some nostalgic and pretty good. And today, for some reason, I saw the start of the, I don't know what year this draft would have been, the year that Isaiah Thomas came into the league. Mark Aguirre was picked first ahead by the Dallas Mavericks, and then Isaiah went to Detroit. And when he was introduced, when the pick was introduced by then Larry O'Brien, the commissioner of the NBA, he said, Isaiah Thomas, University of Indiana. Now, those of us who went to Indiana University can't stand when it said University of Indiana. But I'm glad I got that right in this case because I don't want to annoy you early. Did your dad invite you to the Garden last night? Could you, if you'd wanted to, sat next to your dad for Game 3 NBA Finals last night?
So my family's got multiple group chats that all exclude one member that we all make fun of each other behind our backs and so on. And so I texted my brothers. I was with my dad in Miami, we were playing golf, and I said, oh man, Dad just invited me to Game 3. And immediately my other brother was like, no, he already invited me. He forgot or whatever. So a little bit of an argument there, but I had day camp. We've got day camp going on right now, so I didn't want to blow off a day of day camp. But I was offered, and then it was rescinded. So they went and watched that.
That's tremendous. That's us. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the who's who, even by New York standards, Garden standards, the crowd in terms of celebrity, the celebrity quotient was as high as I ever remember it. And you can be cynical about that and say, oh, okay, now you want to be seen at these events. A lot of them are obviously, good Knicks fans, but it was the celebrity quotient last night might have been historic.
I do think, because I watch the Knicks a decent amount. I wouldn't say I watch them all year, but I do think the girl from SVU is very, very true blue.
Yep.
I do think Timothy Oliphant actually is a big fan. I think Tracy Morgan and Tina Fey and Ben Stiller are all pretty consistent. Obviously, Spike Lee. Then you got some new ones. I think John McEnroe is always there. So they do have some true blue ones. I don't think they're as just coming for courtside like Laker fans. But yeah, that was quite a scene last night for sure. I mean, the camera angle that they had when the Knicks ran out of the locker room, that was goosebumps at a high level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've obviously, spent a lot of time in that building, and I know around the country people kind of roll their eyes about why it's nothing like the Garden. I mean, that's the place, and I don't care how many titles they do or don't have. There's something special about it. Jordan would acknowledge it. Kobe Bryant would acknowledge it. I've covered a lot of games there. I think there is something different about it. I really do. What would you say to that issue?
I would say in recruiting for us right now, obviously you talk about NIL. That's the most important thing. You talk about the role in the team, and you talk about NCAA tournament. But I really think that recruits don't truly understand how special it is to have a conference tournament at Madison Square Garden. I've played in, whether it was in the Big Ten tournament, we rotated between Indy and Chicago. I think we were in D.C. The Mountain West was it was at Thomas and Mack in Vegas every year. But the Garden, it is really, really special. Why exactly, I don't know. I mean, I do think the lighting is really, really cool.
It is, yep.
The lights are just on the court. And I just think the location of the city, right around the corner from Times Square, you can legitimately walk out and you can kind of go anywhere in the city. But I do think it's a special building, pro NCAA tournament. Obviously the Knicks, I mean, they haven't won a title in 57 years. Yeah. So, I think it's setting up pretty good for Game 6 to be a big one for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to a little more on that in a minute. It's interesting the kinds of questions that come in when you join us. For example, I'm not sure if I saw this one coming, like if this is someone out of the 701 area code who is interviewing you for your next job. Here's the question he asks. How tall was the tallest player that Richard ever had, and how did he use him? Just an odd question out of nowhere. I didn't see coming. Yeah.
I think I have had a couple of 7-1 guys. How I used them, I don't remember them being all that good. So normally used them on the bench, but we're looking for some bigger guys who are moving forward. We actually have a 7-1 kid on our team now. He unfortunately hurt his shoulder, but going to be a good player down the road. I do think college basketball, it always goes in waves, and it's moving back to being very, very big. So I need to recruit some more 7-footers.
That's interesting. Yeah, as I was going to ask you if that's a little bit of the trend, because the things move pretty quickly. A debate I've had over the last several days. We had the former Timberwolf, who I don't know if you ever got to know much from here, Sam Mitchell, who comes back occasionally, still does a lot of media broadcast work. Former head coach, obviously, in Toronto. And, was with the Wolves as a player and then as a coach as well. And he's big on, when it comes to Wemby, he says, I think one of the mistakes is basically not getting him in space more. Stop worrying about the fact that he's 7'6" or 5", whatever he is. Use him where he's most comfortable. Meanwhile, Trent Tucker, the former Gopher, who I'm sure you know, his comeback is the opposite. He's like, get him down low. I want to see him down low a little bit more. I don't care what moves he has or hasn't developed. At some point, if you're taking 15-foot shots, at that height, nobody can stop you. Get down there and get do something with it. So where are you on the next step that Wemby needs to take? Although he looked awfully good last night, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would say he took a big step last night. I think I honestly think his biggest thing is strength.
Yeah.
Obviously he's massive. He's 7'5". I mean, I think it's truly one of the more remarkable things, that I've witnessed in my life. You got a 7'5" guy running down the trail spot, pulling up from 3 like he's a guard. The NBA, just for whatever reason, besides like Joel Embiid and a handful of other guys, they just don't post up their guys. Is it the defensive rules? I don't know, but they just don't believe in it. But certainly you would think, they throw a lot of lobs to him. They kind of get him on some ball screen roll stuff, but they rarely post him up. But I mean, the guy was runner-up for MVP of the league. So, I mean, obviously he had a phenomenal year, but I don't think any NBA big guy anymore is just, they're going to park him in the paint like they did, kind of 20 years ago. So as much as you can put him at the top of the key and get him in some ball screen roll stuff and try to throw over the top, obviously becomes a major issue on how to guard it.
The exchange between Wemby and Jalen out near the free throw line, dirty play that was not called, or the kind of play, if you're a coach, that you may not publicly endorse it, but that you think your player sometimes, to sort of stake his claim when he's being harassed a little bit, needs to make?
I think all of the above. I think yes, it was a dirty play. I also think, he's probably sick of everybody saying he's too skinny. And, big guys always get fouled more than the guards do. I mean, it's been an extremely physical series. It's almost crazy how over the top physical it is, and they're not calling fouls. So I don't know if I'd openly endorse it, but he did. I mean, he showed a high level of toughness. I do think it was a dirty play. I'm shocked he didn't get a technical on the play. But he clearly just threw Brunson to the ground. But I think he's sick of people saying that he's not tough. And I mean, it's amazing. The guy's only 22 years old. Yeah. And, he's going to be the face of the league for a long time.
Let's get to a couple other things, and then maybe if we have time, we'll come back to this subject. Because Guards and I spent some time yesterday on a story that is resonating throughout college sports, in this case related to college football. but I think ramifications larger that, Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback, the Texas Tech quarterback, people representing him won a temporary restraining order on his behalf against the NCAA that will allow him to play for Texas Tech this year, despite dozens and dozens of occasions in which he has acknowledged that he gambled on his team. And according to what I've read, there's even bets that has been established that he made after he got to Texas Tech just a few months ago. So do you find this judge's ruling as mind-blowing as everybody else does? What do you make of it?
Yeah, I would say this is the most mind-blowing one of them all. And there's been, like, every month there's just continues to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe that happened, or, oh, that'll never pass, or a judge. It's just remarkable. I just don't know, like, I understand the NCAA, created a lot of issues just with the way they ran this thing for so many years. But, like, if we can't, and I never want kids just punished and careers ruined. Obviously, he made a big mistake, but, gambling was kind of like the unwritten law. Like, if you break that one, there's no coming back from it, especially if you gamble on your own team. And what's stunning about it is basically they've given him the temporary restraining order. And if you just saw on Twitter, the court date is after the season.
Yes, exactly.
So, so it's like, I always see on Twitter, that the college games are the viewership is up. And, you see some of these national writers saying that the sport is not broken. It's as popular as it's ever been. I do think it is popular, and I think the sport is strong, but this is really at a level of ridiculousness that I just don't know how we turn back. If you have a guy who's gambling on his own team, $90,000 worth of it, and still able to play, it's just a scary deal. So we'll see what comes of it, but I don't think it's going to get overturned.
Mind-blowing. Now, there was a contrarian view I wanted to run by you, and it was by actually a football analyst, although he's also an attorney. I don't know if he still practices, but he did. A guy named Mike Florio, a name you might be familiar with. And Florio is ripping all of us who have expressed angst, fear, and loathing about the absurdity of this ruling. And his theory is, and you've probably heard it before, is, look, we're all frauds on this stuff. College sports frauds, pro sports frauds, because they've all gotten in bed to the degree that they have and want all the money associated with gambling. So how can we get on our high horse about anything, even somebody violating the rules that are in writing? What do you say to that?
I mean, I understand his point to a certain extent, but the kid Porter from, Denver? I mean, he got banned from the NBA for gambling on it.
Yep, so, absolutely.
I think the problem with college athletics right now is nobody really knows the rules. So now it becomes, well, I didn't know that was a rule, so I wasn't intentionally breaking the rule anymore. Where a clear rule was you cannot gamble on, sports unless it's horse racing. I mean, that's been clear as day. So I do think there's a lot of hypocrisy with the gambling stuff that everybody's throwing in everybody's face. But it was very, very clear to student athletes that they can't do it. He clearly broke a rule and got caught, and he's not paying the consequences. Again, I don't want guys' careers ruined, but there's got to be some law and order, and clearly there is not in college sports.
It's a strange sports world we're in, that's for sure. Trail Ref guy says he's biased as a Duke fan, so obviously he believes Cameron's the toughest place to play in America. But what is the toughest road spot you, Richard Pitino, have ever been to?
I would probably say Purdue. I think it's a combination of, the stable programs that, whether it was in the Big Ten or as an assistant coach, I would even put the Pitt when it's good up against a lot of them. But, it's got to be a combination of environment, but also your team has got to be good. And I think Purdue all around, like Indiana was good, but as you know, your alma mater, like that's a very conflicted fan base. It's like
it is now.
They hate the coach. Yeah. They want them to lose. Like it's just not as all in as the Purdue environment in Mackey.
Yeah.
I just think there's just a combination of like the players fit the university and the program. It's still kind of a throwback old school program. The fans are, traditionalists. So I thought Purdue was probably the toughest. And then Michigan State, obviously, just the consistency of which Coach Izzo did it. Those two would probably be the most consistent. And I honestly would put the Pitt on a great night, like when we beat San Diego State or whatever. Like the Pitt was a top 5 environment that I've been a part of as well. We've
become a football school at Indiana, Richard. That's the truth of it. We're football. Well, that's hard to believe, but that's the big departure. Who would win? Man, again, there's some random questions. Dan, who would win in an MMA match, Richard or Nico?
MMA? Oh, man. I'm trying to think of the last time that we battled it out. I think we beat him. I would say that we would both probably pass out because neither one of us have been in a fight probably for like 25 years. I do know he beat me in golf. Oh. He's a very good golfer. I am not a good golfer. That's because I work a lot harder than Nico does. He takes, summers off and just plays golf all the time.
Understandably. 717 writes, as my phone number can attest, I am from the East Coast. My first and only Garden experience was when I saw Richard Pitino's Gophers beat Larry Brown's SMU team in the NIT Championship. Such a cool experience and much more affordable for me compared to a Knicks game since I was in college at the time. That bring back memories?
It does. It's funny. I actually thought the NIT was a good tournament. Now it's just turned into like, if you're a high major school, you don't even go to it. But I do think back when we won it, like I think the first game, it was kind of like, you dread it a little bit. But then you get a little bit of momentum to go to the Garden. So we actually had fun with it. And different times for sure. With the transfer stuff, but I did think it did help a little bit, like just to build something and get some momentum in recruiting. So, it's changed. They don't really do it anymore like they used to, but it was a fun tournament.
I don't know if word of this breaking news out of the Twin Cities reached you. This was from yesterday. We had some fun with it on the show. Word comes down officially that Golden Gopher men's basketball has agreed to play St. Thomas, correct, Gardsey?
Yes,
and
finally.
The Tommies have been whining about this, or I should say, especially Tommy fans, have been whining about this, it seems, for almost ever. With that as backdrop, 507 guy wants to know, would you have scheduled the oh-so-terrifying St. Thomas Tommies if you were still here?
If I was the head coach of Minnesota?
Yeah.
Well, I think the obvious thing is what are you trying to put a schedule together for? You're trying to get an at-large bid. I'm friends with Johnny Tower. Like, I think he's a really good coach. But if you're really, truly looking at what benefits the University of Minnesota, I don't see how, now not knowing their net rankings or anything like that, right. Normally what they tell you is if you're playing a quad 4 game, which my guess is St. Thomas is maybe a 3, when they're good, and then a 4. And it's not their fault. They can't play against any teams to help their net. But they say that it benefits you when you play a quad 4, that the quad 4 stinks. So it's a compliment to John Tower because he does a very good job. They also have a good fan base, a brand new building. But in reality, it really doesn't do a whole lot to help Minnesota's resume. So they really advise you, like at league meetings and stuff, like if you're going to play a quad 4, you better blow them out. Like it helps you. Mm-hmm. So I would maybe be guilted into it, but I still kind of think, and it's not their fault, but it just doesn't help your tournament resume. But it's obviously very good for the Twin Cities to get, both fan bases and get some enthusiasm certainly helps as well. But when you're in the Big Ten, you're going to play 20 games that are all going to help your resume as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the comeback is all going to be great attendance figures, and maybe there will be. I've never gotten into all that discussion. I think it's definitely overwrought. Here's a question for me that's going to sound weird, but that's not unusual for me. In 2026, in college, in this case basketball, do academics matter at all? I mean, is there such a thing of you have to maintain, because everything else seems out the window. So do you have to go to class? Do you have to pursue anything? Or are even those rules different than when you got in this game?
Yeah, it's changed substantially. I'll tell you my team standards. I have it on my desk right here. You're making less and less rules, obviously, as you're starting to pay the players and so on. Mm-hmm. But my standards are be on time, tell the truth, respect others, and go to class. So, for me, it's obviously way more pro sports than it's ever been. But, if we're going to be paying you guys hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, more for me, it's I know you don't want to go, but the school is paying you it's your responsibility to go. It's hard to sell the graduation piece as much anymore because, I've got kids who've been to 4 different schools in 4 years. And, it is really a bummer, but we do still check class and we still do punish guys. But I will say their interest in it, unfortunately, is not as high. You used to bring recruits on campus and sell to the parents about their degree, and you come to Minnesota, it's a 40-year decision because you can come back to the Twin Cities, get a job, etc. You really don't do that as much anymore, so it's certainly disappointing.
Lastly, the Protect College Sports Act of 2026. It's described as a bipartisan piece of legislation. On the one hand, proposed by Republican Senator Ted Cruz, and on the other side of it, Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell, to restore order, I think is the term used, to college athletics, which has become, as you've discussed with us before, kind of the wild, wild west. I tend to be suspicious when the government tries to get involved in this stuff, but I got to say, based on what I've read, some of it, I don't know if it's going anywhere, sounds kind of sensible to me. I think among the things that have been proposed in it, transfer portal limits players to 1 transfer without penalty. Eligibility is a 5-year window from high school graduation or the 19th birthday. And then there's even some stuff about coach poaching in it, so to speak. I kind of think this could be helpful. Am I being naive? Does it even have a chance to pass, or what do you know about it?
I think that it's a step in the right direction. The problem with Congress and so on is time, right? I mean, it just takes forever to get these things passed. I think the 5-and-5 rule helps. I think the issue that started more than anything was kids getting eligible by waivers, whether it was a grandmother sick or an illness or whatever, mental health. And some of them were justified, but it opened up a whole can of worms for the NCAA, and then all of a sudden they got rid of the one-time transfer thing where you had to sit out. I think most coaches don't really care that the players get paid. It honestly makes it easier on us because you don't have to worry about, buying them a meal or breaking a rule or so on. The problem is, and I know this to be a fact, other sports are going to get hurt. And you're going to see ADs make, the worst nightmare for an AD is to cut sports. And they are going to be held up against this. And you're going to start seeing volleyball, become a club sport, women's soccer, baseball, whatever. And that's not why we all got into this thing. Yes, football, men's basketball are normally the revenue generators, women's basketball at certain places, hockey, et cetera. But a lot of schools are going to be impacted because, I think 3 to 4 years ago, the NCAA champion probably had a $1 million roster. Now we're over $20 million at a lot of places, and I just don't see how they sustain it. So hopefully there's some rules because honestly, we just want a framework of how to follow things. And right now it's so swung the other way where it's player friendly. And that's just not the way to do business. It's got to be kind of both sides coming together to figure something out.
The unfortunate part, I think, at least to this point, is that the Big Ten and the SEC, and nothing gets done without them, has said no, right? Or said, no, we got this, we're not pleased with this. So that's the open question, right? Whether they Because they kind of name the tune on so much stuff, especially on the football side, correct?
Yeah, I think that's for sure the biggest issue right now. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong, but like the Big Ten and the SEC have the most power right now. And, I think the Iowa State AD you saw the other day was like, they should just break off so we can, not worry about them. But, they bring in the revenue, they get the most TV dollars and they distribute them. I still think at the end of the day, collective bargaining would be the answer. We're essentially Major League Baseball right now where, you got the Dodgers outspending everybody, then the Yankees, et cetera. But there's no rules, guys. There's no multi-year contracts that can hold any type of weight in the court of law. So the players can just break the contracts whenever they want. So there's a lot of sleepless nights. It's hard to be an AD right now because they're going to have to raise a lot of money, and donor fatigue is a real thing, and they're going to have to make some difficult decisions.
Lastly, Richard Pitino, kind enough to join us this afternoon. We always enjoy these visits. Have you had any summertime yet to get away? Is that coming, or what's the summer schedule for you?
We actually have a day camp 3 weeks in a row right at the beginning of June. So we had 330 kids running around the Cintas Center, gum on the court, candy wrappers everywhere, snow cones, slushies, anything to make a buck for Xavier basketball. We're just robbing these kids blind. But no, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. June is very, very busy. And then you wrap up summer school, and then you get like late July and a couple weeks in August where you can get away a little bit. But, we're in the middle of practice. We had practice today at 11:30 and going to go recruiting tomorrow. So it's weird. I think normally beginning of August is always a good time to get away.
Are you still going to advise your players to not bet on Xavier basketball games?
We could have made a lot of money betting against us last year, But no, that is one of the team rules is about the gambling thing. But yeah, it's I don't know if they get caught. I guess they could sue and they could win.
Well,
so
and mental illness. Demons caused me to do it. So, and I'm not belittling mental health on this, and not even saying that's not a component of it. But the idea that that allows you to escape any kind of punishment, it's mind-boggling. I'm with you. Great to catch up.
Yeah, I don't think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't think it's that they should be punished, beyond belief, but there should be some repercussions for sure, more than anything.
Have to be. Good to catch up as always. Have a great summer. We'll be in touch. Thanks, Richard.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Richard Pitino, former Gopher men's basketball coach, now at Xavier. I'm running a little behind schedule. I hope I don't annoy shock jock Kevin Seifert, who asked the trade question, the big question of JJ McCarthy today. How did JJ respond? How did the shock jock feel about delivering the question in the first place? We'll find out that and more next.
Bumper to bumper.